Likutei Sichos of Helik Chovav, volume 26. This is the Sicha for Chav Dalet Teves, and right in the beginning of the Sicha, there's a star in which it brings down that the idea of Chav Dalet Teves to look into Likutei Levi Yitzchok Igris Omed Reish Mem Tez Ve'elach. In this Sicha, the Rebbe connects the 24th of Teves with the Parshas Va'era. Basically, that the name of the Alter Rebbe was Shnei Oir, he brought light, the Rebbe will explain. And this is also Va'era, Ve'era, it has the words Oir Aleph. The Oir spelled out, that's the Oir of Nigla, the Torah. The Aleph is a hint for the hidden Oir of Nister, the Torah, as the Rebbe goes on to explain. We're learning the Sicha Lilu Nishmas, our son Harav Levi Yitzchak, whose yahrzeit is coming up in a couple of weeks, and this should be a benefit for his soul. And we'll go step by step. Chav Dalet Teves Aleph. As is Yedua was der Shalosh Reip, is known that which the Shalosh writes, as alle Moyadei Hashono, that all festivals of the years, Moyadei meaning unique days, not even festivals, but those are set days, Moyadei, those are times, bestimmte, ausgetelte Tag von Jahr, those are designated, distinguished days of the year. They have a special meaning. The Rebbe is getting that Chav Dalet Teves is not a Yom Tov in the normal sense. And why should we say that it's connected to the Parsha based on what the Shalom writes? But the Rebbe says, Moyade means a time, a unique time. This is also a special time. And the Yesh Loimar, so the Rebbe says we can say that the connection to the times in the Parsha would also apply to Yortzeit and birthdays. Yesh Loimar, Koilil, the Yimei HaYiledes, or Yimei HaHilula. This would include also the birthdays and the days of Hilula, of the passing, from Tzadikim Shedoimim Leboirom, Tzadikim who are compared to their creator, and therefore that has a very strong and very special significance because of the great level of these tzaddikim. So we should say that also ze seinen merumas in the Parshias HaTorah was werden gelehnt. They are hinted. These special days are hinted in the portions of the Torah which are read, ungelernt, and studied. In this manim, when odim moedim seinen chal, in those times that these unique days come out. So, if Chav Dalet Teves, which is a yahrzeit, comes out in a certain parsha, that means that in the parsha we can find a remes for that special day. In this case, Chav Dalet Teves. Their phone is farshtadik. So from this we can understand. Benegeya Chav Dalet Teves, as it relates to the 24th of Teves, the Yom HaHilula von Alten Rebbe, the Hilula day of the Alter Rebbe. Was is Chal Bereiv Hashonim Ki B'Shana Zu, which comes out in most years, just as in this year. In this year, Chav Dalet Teves is the Vach from Parshas Va'era. When you read the portion of Va'era, as is do a remes in Parshas Va'era of Maso V'Terosav Avedosa, that there is a hint in the portion of Va'era to the Alter Rebbe, what he did, his actions, his study, his service, we can find in the Parsha, because the events of the week are related to the Parsha, the events of the week, such as the Rebbe says here, including a yahrzeit, the Yom Holedes, are hinted in the Parsha. Von Alten Rebbe, welche kommen de Shleimusam, And we know that it's not on the day of a passing of a tzaddik, as the Alter Rebbe writes in Tanya. So then all of the work and the Torah and the avodah of the tzaddik come together on the day of the yahrzeit. So, which means on Chavdalet Teves, there is a hint about this yahrzeit, about the maisim of Torah avodas, the Chakumen, the day shlemusam b'yom ha'istalkus. They come to their completeness on the day of Istalkus. So the Rebbe wants to find in the parsha a common theme is to find a remez in the name of the parsha, which is Va'era, and that will therefore serve as a connection Va'era to Chavdalet Teves, to the actions, teachings, and service of the Alter Rebbe, which is on the yard side reaches the level. Eine a gemeinsame Nekuda, one which is a common point, b'chabin zusammen den Nomen von Sedra, which ties together the name of the Sedra. That's a common point that ties together the name of the Sedra Va'era. Va'era ties all the details. Everything in the parsha is called Va'era. Was der Shem HaSedra bringt arois dem Teuchen. The name of the Sedra brings out the contents for the ganze Sedra, from the entire Sedra. Kemeduber kama pa'omim, as spoken many times. So to connect a common theme of the parsha of Va'era, the name Va'era, with the nomen von Alter Rebbe, with the name of the Alter Rebbe, to connect Va'era to Shneir Zalman, to the name of the Alter Rebbe. The erste nomen von Alter Rebbe, the first name of the Alter Rebbe, being first is first, the most important, the main, and also that's the Hebrew name. Sein Iker Nomen, that's the main name, the first name. Hashem b'Loshen HaKodesh, that's the name in Loshen Kodesh. So the main name is Shneir. He has also the name Zalman, but in Loshen Kodesh, and the first is Shneir. Was der Teich von Shneir, what is the translation of Shneir, is Shnei Oir, two lights. Das heißt, basically, we're talking about lights, more specifically, two lights, as the Rebbe will continue to explain. But what is Shneir light? It's two lights, but it's light. Das heißt, that inyan von Lichtigkeit, the idea of light. And the common thing with the parsha is because Va'era, I appeared means I've been shown. That is also the same idea as light. Euch Va'era, also Va'era, I appeared. Was meint, ich hab sich bewiesen. I appeared to, I showed myself to Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, but I appeared to, I showed myself. Hodem selben Teuchen wie Pa'ula Sha'oir. It has the same idea, the same content as light. It does what light does. Der Oiftu von Oir is, what is the novelty of light? Light does not create something new. Light illuminates and shows you what there is already there, but it makes it visible. Der Oiftu von Oir, the novelty of life, is nicht zu moisiv sein neue Sachen, is not to add new items, nor zu machen lichtig. It's to bring light, to illuminate. Und damit zu der Meglichen, through the light, this allows, as die Sache, wo seinen da von früher, the items that are there from before, doesn't create it, but the light allows the items that are there from before, sollen gesember, they should be seen, which is their teuchen von Va'era. Va'era means I made shown, which means it was before, but now I appeared and I showed that. V'yeshloimar, as im Wort va'edo. So the Rebbe says more than just appear and light, but we has the Shnei Oir over here. Im Wort va'edo is euch merumes der Inyan von Shnei Oir. It also hints to the idea of two Oir, zwei Oires. Was die zwei Eures von alten Rebben seien doch, wie der Baal Shem Tov hat gesagt. These two lights, what is the Shnei Oir, that the name of the Alter Rebbe? What's the two lights? So the two Oirs were said, wie der Baal Shem Tov. The Baal Shem Tov said, der Oir von Nigla, the Torah, und der Oir von Nister, the Torah. These are the two lights, the light from the revealed part of Torah and the light of the hidden esoteric part of Torah. That the Alter Rebbe will bring light in both of these areas. He'll bring light in revealed part of Torah and also in the esoteric. And we can say now that the word va'era also has the hint for both. Va'era is oir spelled and also with an aleph. An aleph represents oir. It's the first letter of oir. Oir, aleph, which is oir, oir. The oir is nigla the Torah, the aleph is nister the Torah. Der Wort va'era, the word va'era, enthält die oisios, oir, and an aleph. It contains the letters oir, which is light, and an aleph. Welche seinen meramis of zwei oires. This hints two lights. Has chalosoi, the beginning, va'er, the oir, the oisios, va'er, vav ein reish, which is oir. Welche stellen zunächst zum Wort, dem Wort oir beim Ferish. They clearly are put together the word oir. So the word va'era has the word oir in it. Keneged dem oir from nigla. That corresponds to the light of the revealed part of Torah. Und der ois aleph was is Rosh Teves, then you have also the letter aleph, which is the beginning of the word oir. Der oir steht behelem in Rosh Teves. The oir is hidden in Rosh Teves. That is merames of dem oir von Nister the Torah. That hints to the light of the hidden esoteric part of Torah. So we have the name Shneir, which is the name of the Alter Rebbe, whose yortzeit is Chavdalad Teves, hinted in the name of the Parsha that we read, Va'era, and when we take it apart, we'll see that there's actually Shnei, two oir, like the Alter Rebbe, the Magid, the Baal Shem Tov explained, this was the oir of Nigla the Torah, Nista the Torah. The word Va'era has the beginning, it starts with the letter of that spells out oir, then aleph, which is the Rosh Teves, which hits for the Nister the Torah. And now the Rebbe is going to explain how this idea of oir was actually what the Alter Rebbe brought into his teachings, both in the esoteric, the Nister Chassidus, and also in the Shulchan Aruch, that he brought oir in these areas as his name. Beis, wie bald as der Namen von alten Rebben hat den Badait von Lichtigkeit, since the name of the Alter Rebbe has the meaning of light, is verstandig, so it's understood that das is euch gewähnt von die Iluyim, von Maisov v'Teirosov v'Avidoso, that this was also the advantages that the Alter Rebbe's Torah, his actions, his Torah, and Avodah are unique in the light that they brought. There is the light, that's the name says that he brought about light. So, how so? The Rebbe explains now how the Alter Rebbe brought in the level of light. Is the Birbazah. In Chassidus, the Rebbe explains the Alter Rebbe brought it down into Chabad, into explanation, into rationale. He brought that's bringing it down to light. And in Shulchan Aruch, the Alter Rebbe brought down the reasoning which brings the light. As the Rebbe explains now, is the Biur Bazeh. Oif to Ikri von Alter Rebbe is given. What was the Alter Rebbe's main novelty? What did he come up with? Der Gil is given, der Gilui von Teuras Chasidus Chabad. That is revealing the teaching of the Chasidus of Chabad. Chabad is Chochma bin Adas. Ubelishoy Nesido Reinu, to use the language of the leader of our generation, which is Kveit Kedushas Meirichama Admur, the Rebbe says, this is my father-in-law, the Rebbe. So he says, der Grinder von Chasidus Chabad, the one who founded Chabad Chasidus, which is Chochma bin Vadas, und der erster Nossi von Chasidus Chabad, and the first leader, prince of the Chabad Chasidim, hat Arab getrogen die Inyonim von Teuras HaChasidus HaKlolis. He brought down these ideas of the general Chassidus. Was is this? Baal Shem Tov and the Magid, that has already been revealed by the Baal Shem Tov and the Magid, and he brought it down in Chochma Bina Das, in the level of understanding Chochma and the Bina and Das, in an Eifon, in such a manner as jeder soll das kennen, verstehen, besichli, that everyone can understand it in their intellect logically. He brought down the Chassidus HaKlolis into the logic, into Chabad. So that we see, that was the main teaching of the Alter Rebbe, to bring Chassidus in Chabad. So that is something which we'll see, which is the level of light. He brought light into Chassidus, which was not understood, which was in a dark place. People did not really, weren't able to fully comprehend it. The Rebbe will explain that. And then we also see the same thing is in the revealed part of Torah. The same thing is also as it pertains to the light from Nigla de Torah, from the revealed part of Torah, which is Chibur HaShulchan Aruch Shaloi, the authoring of the Shulchan Aruch of the Alter Rebbe. What was the main idea that the Rebbe put in the Shulchan Aruch? They brought down the reasoning for the halacha. As for the Ikra HaChidush Bazeh, the main novelty is given in them, consisted in this, he expressed and he brought out the laws while giving us the reasoning. Milsa b'tayme dafke. He gave the matter and he gave you the reasoning dafke. Not just the halacha, but he gave you the reasoning for the halacha. Kidei, what did that do? As there was lernt say, that the one who is studying the halacha soll nicht nur wissen dem Din, wie zu finden sich bepoil, should not only know what the rule is, how one must conduct themselves in actuality. No, nor soll euch verstehen, but he should also understand the halacha al-buria, the halacha completely. So that was accomplished by the Alter Rebbe's Shulchan Aruch. This is the idea of light, and das ist der Inyan von Oir. Was Chochma v'Seichel werden angur von Oir. This is the idea of Oir, because when you have Chochma and intellect, they are referred to as light. Durch Banemen an Inyan mit Seichel mit Verstand. When you capture, when you take a matter with your intellect, with understanding, wird die Sach lichtig. So then it becomes light. It becomes illuminated. offen for Menschen. It becomes open for people. Wenn man versteht as Sach, set man die Sach la mitosa. When you understand something, the matter, then you really know it. You know it, the truth of it. When zet vos die Sach is bemes, you see what this is really. The light, the understanding provides for the person a glimpse into really knowing what it is. That is the seichel when you really understand it. And it's different. If you just believe, then it's not illuminated, then it's dark. It's only when you can comprehend it, it's when it begins to become light. B'shas men geloyt in azach, when you believe in something, afilu vendos is be'emuna amitis, even if you have a true belief. In welchus is nitshayich kein svekis, in which there could be no questions, no doubts. Bald aber as mehot in them nit kein verstand. Since, however, you don't understand it, is the zach nit offen for him, so then the item is not open for him. Men veis bevados. You know with certainty, as the zach is azoy, that the matter is so, but yet you're lacking the light. It's still dark. Aber the Lichtigkeit von Seichel, but when you add and you bring the light of the intellect, tut oif, that accomplishes as men zet die Zach bechol proteho. You see this with all the details. You are comprehending it. Bis, to the extent, understanding something is, as the Alter Rebbe says in Tanya, that the idea of understanding that brings a tremendous level of unity between the person who and his intellect and what he's understanding, as es can kommen und es kommt bepoil to such an extent that you can reach, and it actually comes down so yichud nifla, to having this wondrous union as hamaskil v'haseichel v'hamuskol. Hamaskil is the one that understands the person. V'haseichel, that's the intellect that the person has, and Bahamuskul, and the idea that you figured out, they become one, as the Alter Rebbe lights in Tanya in all different ways, how the seichel is in the idea, and the idea is in the seichel, Makol Tzadupina, as explained in Tanya. However, the point over here is that Amuna is still dark. Seichel makes light. The fact that the Alter Rebbe brought down Hasidus into Chabad understanding, the fact that the Alter Rebbe brings down the reasons in the Shulchan Aruch makes light, that is the Shnei Oir that the Alter Rebbe brought about. The Rebbe continues, Gimel, und das ist der Öftu von dem alten Rebben in Gilu Teres Chasidus Chabad. This is the novel accomplishment of the Alter Rebbe in revealing the teaching of Chabad Chasidus, which is the Oir Funister de Torah, the light of the esoteric part of Torah. Bis dem Zman von dem alten Rebbe, until the Alter Rebbe came, there was Hasidus, but it was lacking the light. Seine Dinyonim von Teures Hasidus gelernt geworden. The matters, the ideas of the Hasidus teaching were studied al yidei rubam kikulim, most people, and almost everyone, in an oifun funemen al kol ponim protinyonim. At least the details of the matters. How did people study? They didn't understand. Maybe in the general they understood it, but the specifics, they took it mit amuna. They believed. They didn't really have a full grasp and a full understanding of the discussion of the Hasidus teaching before the Alter Rebbe. Mostly they took it with belief. They believed. B'tzadik ve'emunosoi Yichya, that the tzaddik with his amuna, the belief that he has, that gives him life, and that life of the tzaddik and the amunah uh, of the tzaddik also expanded to all those connected to the tzaddik, to all the chassidim. So the chassidim, the tzaddik was amunah, and the chassidim connected with the tzaddik, so they connected to the level of amunah. Durch emunose, his kashruse mitun tzaddik, through his amunah, and which is his tying to the tzaddik, vetem, actually the taich of tzaddik b'amunose, that when the chosid, his amunah in the tzaddik, Yichaya gives the chosid that life. Hot dem hot der tzaddik mechaya given. The tzaddik vitalized him through his amunah in the tzaddik. While by them, when hot mechaya given hat gefällt chayser. We're not saying that the tzaddik connected through amunah, but we said the chosid connects through the tzaddik through amunah in the tzaddik, and that vitalizes the chosid, the one who connects to the tzaddik. So the tzaddik vitalizes the chosid through the amunah that the chosid has in the Rebbe. Why did the Rebbe have to vitalize him, bring him chayis? While by them women not mechayi given ha gefällt chayis oir, because the person who needs life, who needs vitality, he was missing light. So therefore, his connection and amunah in the tzaddik brought him that light. The Alter Rebbe durch Gilu Chasidus Chabad, but on the other hand, the Alter Rebbe, by revealing the Chabad teaching of Chasidus, is his chilahoyer. He began to illuminate the Inyonim von Teures Chasidus seinen Handleck geworden. The aspects of Chasidus teaching became revealed zu jedem einem, to everyone. Und dasselbe ist euch benegeya dem Oil von Nigla de Teure. The same is true with the light of the revealed part of Teure, which is Chibur HaShulchan Aruch, the Chibur HaShulchan Aruch. Just like in Chasidus, the Alter Rebbe didn't remain without a Munah connection, but the Chassid got the Oir, got the light, the Lichtigkeit, the understanding. The same thing is the light of the revealed part of Torah, Chibur HaShulchan Aruch. The inyan von HaShulchan Aruch, the idea, what is a Shulchan? A prepared table is ready, is to wissen halacha l'maaseh. That is to know the law in actuality. Der Fahr seinen in dem Lich'eire nit negei the time. Therefore, it would seem that it's not important reasonings. The shakla v'tariyah, the give and take, arum the cholam halacha. Nor blois the maskoner for the halacha l'maaseh, only what we need the conclusion of the law in actuality. With der mensch darf ton bepoil, how the person needs to do it in actuality. Aber wissendig blois the halacha is pesukos on zeire time. But to know only what the ruling is without the reasons, if you don't understand, so what happens then? You can do it because as you do is that oifen hakiyim beikar. So mainly the way we do it, not mit kabbalah soil, we accept the yoke. We have to do it because we have to do it. Erfolg dem Shulchan Aruch, you listen to the Shulchan Aruch, when he's mekayim the mitzvah b'shleimusa, and he fulfills the mitzvah and completely. Ubemela hoter was a mitzvah tut oif, and therefore he has what a mitzvah accomplishes. What does a mitzvah accomplish? Tzavsa v'chibur chulu. He connects to Hashem. There's a tzavsa, a connection, and going along with Hashem. He did what the Shulchan Aruch said. He did the mitzvah. Aber das leicht nicht bei him, but it doesn't shine by him. Bis as der Beis Yosef sagt, to the extent that it's not light, Beis Yosef says, and he sort of cautions by telling us there about his own Shulchan Aruch, which doesn't have the reasons, as es kum behem shulchan is miyusat of Sifrei HaBeis Yosef, that the Shulchan Aruch comes as a continuation and is based on the Beis Yosef. The Beis Yosef, which is the debate and the question and answer, Shulchan Aruch is a result, which means that he himself recognizes the fact that it's lacking the light if you just learn the Shulchan Aruch. The Alter Rebbe, the Chibur HaShulchan Aruch, the Alter Rebbe through authoring the Shulchan Aruch, in an oifel from the halachas b'taimei, in the halachas with the reasonings, Dafke, od beleuchten euch dem Inyan from Kabbalah Soil. He illuminated even this area, accepting you're doing the mitzvah, which is what a Shulchan Aruch is. A Shulchan Aruch, he also brought the Shnei Oir, this light in Nigla as well. Oich Shulchan Aruch halacha l'maisa, even also the Shulchan Aruch, which is the law, what you got to do, daf hoben nizich taime halachas, should have contained within it the reason for the halachas. Kidei, in order as their kiyum ha-mitzvahs ol zayin, that the observance of the mitzvah should be oich in a lichtiken oifen, also in a way of light, knowing the reasons mit havone v'hasoge, with understanding and with grasp. That's what the accomplishment of the Alter Rebbe, the Shnei Oir, both in the Nigla and the Chassidus. And this is also hinted in the Parshim Va'era, which is Oir, Aleph, the level of light. This is Sichos, Shabbos Parshas Va'era, Tovshin Mem Aleph, and Shabbos Parshas Tovoi, Chai El Tovshin